Chris Lepkowski, West Bromwich Albion correspondent, joins me on the phone now from the Hawthorns. He's just finished writing his match report. It's Sunday night. Chris, first of all, what's your verdict on the game?
Well, I think it caught up with him a little bit from Monday. It was very high tempo, high intensity performance at Bloomfield Road, obviously without any reward. But yeah, it caught him out a bit yesterday. I think having no right back didn't help because Nicky Shorey had to fill in at right back. Stephen Reid wasn't quite fit, and Giannis Avalon obviously out of favour as we've come to see recently. So it was a poor display, but credit has to go to Man City. That Silva and Carlos Tevez, some of their movement, particularly in that zone between Albion's midfield and defence. Albion simply had no response or no way of dealing with it, and I think it would have taken a performance of some stature really for Albion to have got anything out of that game, and to have players who weren't quite on fully at 100%, and it showed.
And Albion had a player sent off, obviously the second game in a row that someone's been sent off for Albion. Was it a deserved red card or not?
Well, it was a second yellow for two bookable offences. Funnily enough, Joseph Malumbu didn't realise he'd been booked the first time earlier in the game. But, for me, it could have been a straight red. I've seen replays of it, which obviously fans in the stadium wouldn't have seen at the time until they get to see match of the day too, as it were. But for me, he clattered into the back of Carlos Tevez, and it was a poor challenge. And I have to say, I've seen those decisions given a straight red. So Josef was a little bit fortunate, but no complaints really. It was a second yellow, and he had to go. And
what was Roberto Di Matteo's reaction after the game? Obviously, it's first time this season that West Brom had back-to-back defeats. What was his take on things? Well, interestingly, only the second time in his managerial career at West Brom they've had back-to-back defeats, so it's not something they're used to. Roberto Di Matteo is one of these managers that, if they win, he's very relaxed, very calm. If they lose, he's very relaxed, very calm. But they'll immediately focus on to the next match. I think he accepts that the team wasn't where it should have been, didn't play at the levels it should have, and it was a poor display. And the important thing is that they get the team right for the next game at West Ham. You've got one or two injury dates. Nicky Shorey picked up a little bit of a knock, so he's a doubt. And obviously, they've got Jonas Olsen out for a few weeks, who's a major loss. But on the bright side, Peter Odemwingie will hopefully be fit, fully fit. He came on yesterday, so there's certainly scope to get a decent result at West Ham. And just lastly, Chris, from your point of view, as the Baggies correspondent for the Birmingham Mail, is it a time that maybe Baggies fans will be worrying a little bit now, or should they not start to worry just from these two results? If I think you'd put a game to West Brom fans who said, look, you're going to be playing Man City. Their team cost about £130 million to assemble. They've got some outstanding players who can't even get into the first 18, let alone the first 11. You would expect to lose, and I think a combination of Albion's good form this season, City's poor recent form of losing 3 games on the bounce, raised expectation, and you have to look at it in perspective. Man City will challenge for the title, whether it's this season or next. It'll probably be this season. I think, on paper, that potentially the team that's most likely to challenge Chelsea this season. I think they'll look a better team when everyone's on it than Man United do. But United have obviously been at the top for so many years. They'll probably still be up there. So we have to look at it with some perspective. Man City are a fantastic team with some great individuals. They were poor at Wolves last week. They were poor in Poland against Lech Poznan. And this result was coming against somebody. It's just unfortunate that Albion chose one of those days to not produce their best, and sadly City did. Okay, Chris Lepkowski from the Hawthorns, thanks very much.